Welcome, everyone. Today, I'm not just going to tell you a story. I'm going to open my heart in front of you. Because this is not just a motivational video. This is the truth, the hard truth, the ugly truth, the truth that nobody wants to say out loud, the truth that most people hide behind fake smiles, fake support, and fake friendships. And that truth is simple. No one is really your friend until you win. Yes, some people might act like they support you. They might cheer you up for a day or two. But when things get hard, when your dreams get bigger, when you have nothing to show yet, they leave. Quietly. Silently. They stop picking your calls. They stop replying to your messages. They stop asking, "How are you?" Because now you are not useful to them. You are just a dreamer, a struggler, a nobody. And here's what hurts even more. You thought they were your real friends. You trusted them. You helped them when they were down. You believed they would do the same for you. But life teaches you a lesson, a painful, powerful lesson, that the only person who truly stays with you during your struggle is you. And this is not just theory. This is not something I read in a book. This is what I lived. This is what I survived. This is what I became strong through. So if you're feeling alone right now, if you're struggling and no one seems to care, if you feel invisible, forgotten, left behind, then don't skip this story, because today I'm going to tell you how I turned my silence into strength, how I turned my pain into power, and how I proved that you don't need 100 friends to succeed. You just need one person who believes in you. And that person is yourself. Let me take you back to the beginning. Let me show you what it really means to walk alone until you win. This story will not only change how you think, it will also improve your English. You'll learn real words, real emotions, and real expressions used in real life. If you want more stories like this that teach you English through powerful motivation, subscribe now. Your mindset will grow, your English will grow, and your life will never be the same. Chapter 1. Nobody believes the boy in the room. My name is Aaron. I was born in a small town where dreams were always too big, and success was always for someone else. Nobody in my family had ever done something great. My father was a mechanic. My mother stayed home. We didn't have a lot, but we had enough to survive. And yet, I always felt like I was born to do something more, something bigger, something that could change my life, and maybe even the world. I remember I was 18 years old when I stood in front of my friends at the bus stop. I told them, "One day, I will be successful. I will make money online. I'll have a business. I'll travel the world." They looked at me, and then they laughed. One of them said, "Aaron, your phone is broken, your shoes have holes, and you're talking about millions?" Another one said, "You should focus on getting a real job. Dreams don't feed your stomach." I smiled, but inside, I broke. Because these were not strangers. These were my friends. People I shared lunch with. People I helped with homework. People I stood up for when they were bullied. But now, the moment I started dreaming big, they laughed. Not because the dream was wrong, but because they couldn't see me winning. They only saw the version of me that was struggling. The boy with no fancy clothes. The boy who took the bus. The boy who didn't have perfect English. The boy who was too ordinary to ever become extraordinary. And the worst part? It wasn't just them. When I told my uncle I wanted to start a small business online, he said, "People like us don't do these things. study, get a job, and be normal. Even my own father said, "Stop wasting time. These ideas are not for people like us." I felt crushed. I felt invisible, like my dreams were too big for the world I lived in. But here's what I realized that night. It's not that people hate you. It's just that they only believe in results. They don't believe in hard work. They don't believe in effort. They don't believe in you until you prove them wrong. That night, I sat in my small room. No AC, just a fan that made more noise than air. A small table, a broken chair, a phone with a cracked screen. I looked around and said, "This is where my journey will begin. Not from a stage, not from a rich office, but from this room." I made a decision. A quiet, powerful decision. If no one supports me, I'll support myself. If no one claps for me, I'll clap for myself. If no one believes in me, I'll become the reason they believe. And from that moment, everything changed. Not outside. Outside, I was still broke, still alone, still ignored. But inside, something was different. There was a fire. There was a voice. There was a silent war inside me. A war between the old version of me, who felt weak, rejected, and small, and the new version of me, who was ready to fight, ready to rise, ready to win. That was the beginning of my lonely path. That was the beginning of walking alone. That was the first time I understood this truth. No one is your friend until you win. But if you're willing to walk alone long enough, you will win. And when you win, the same people who laughed will want to take photos with you. That's where my journey truly started. Chapter 2. The Silent Years. After that night, something changed inside me. Not outside. Outside, I still had nothing. Same room, same cracked phone, same broken chair, same empty pockets. But inside me, something had been born. A decision. A voice. A promise to myself. I didn't tell anyone about it. I didn't announce it on social media. I didn't call my friends to tell them I'm starting something big. Because I had already learned something important. People don't listen to your plans. They only react to your results. So I stayed silent, but I started moving. And that's when my real journey began. I started waking up at 5 a.m. every day, not because someone was motivating me, not because I had a morning routine from a book, but because I had to, because my house was small, and by 7 a.m., it became noisy. I needed silence to focus. I needed those 2 hours in the morning when no one was awake, except me. I would make tea quietly, sit on the floor with my secondhand notebook, and start learning. I searched how to make money online. I typed how to improve English speaking at home. I wrote down everything I found, word by word. No internet at home. So I used a friend's hotspot once a week to download free PDFs and videos. I didn't have a laptop, so I used my old phone that had a black line across the screen. Some days my phone would shut off because of low battery. We didn't have 24/7 electricity, so I would light a candle and just read old notes I had written down. I didn't understand everything. Some words were difficult, but I would write them down. I would practice them in front of the mirror, again and again and again. That mirror, it became my first friend. I would stand in front of it and say, "Aaron, you will speak English fluently. You will start a business. You will earn in dollars. You will win." And sometimes I cried while saying that. Not because I was weak, but because I was the only person who believed in that dream. Slowly, I started distancing myself. I stopped going to useless birthday parties. I stopped replying to late-night texts. I stopped wasting time with people who only talked about others. People noticed. They said, "Bro, you've changed." They said, "You think you're better than us now?" Some laughed. Some got angry. Some just stopped talking to me. But I didn't reply because I was busy changing my life. See, when you start growing quietly, people think you're being rude. They don't understand that you're just protecting your energy. 2 jobs, 1 dream, 0 support. I needed money to survive and to invest in my dream. So I took 2 small part-time jobs. One was at a local tea shop. I would clean tables and wash cups. The second was at a grocery store. I would lift heavy boxes and stock shelves. Every evening, my hands smelled of onions and detergent. My back hurt. My eyes burned. But I came home and opened my notebook because my dream was still alive, and I was still hungry. While other boys watched Netflix, I watched tutorials. While they posted gym selfies, I practiced English pronunciation. While they slept at midnight, I read about email marketing. I wasn't better than them. I was just desperate. Not desperate for attention, but desperate for freedom. Desperate to build a life where I wouldn't have to beg for respect. Desperate to become someone that the world would have no choice but to notice. I didn't go to any coaching center. I didn't have money for classes, so I became my own teacher. I watched free YouTube videos on English grammar. I downloaded beginner-level books and read them out loud. I paused videos, repeated words slowly, and copied the accent. 1 word, 1 line, 1 paragraph at a time. I also started writing small blog posts, even if no one read them. I just wanted to practice writing and thinking in English. Even my captions on social media changed, from my local language to English. People laughed. They sent me screenshots of my grammar mistakes. Some said, "Stop showing off." But I didn't stop, because I knew something they didn't. Mistakes are proof that I'm trying. And if I keep trying long enough, those same mistakes will become my power. There was a period, about 6 months in, where I genuinely thought of quitting. Not quitting life, but quitting the dream. Because nothing was working. No one supported me. No one encouraged me. No money was coming in. No success. No fame. No light. Just silence. One night, I was sitting alone, eating dry bread. My stomach was full, but my heart was empty. I had no one to talk to, no one to tell me, "You're doing great, don't give up." I looked up at the ceiling and said, "Why is it so hard?" And I heard nothing, just the sound of the fan spinning slowly above me. But in that silence, I realized something. Nobody is supposed to help me. Nobody is supposed to understand. This is my journey, not theirs. And if I want the results, I have to do the work, even when no one is watching. I wrote 1 sentence on a small piece of paper and taped it to my wall. I will win, even if it takes 10 years. That line became my religion. Every time I felt tired, I looked at it. Every time I felt jealous of others, I read it. Every time I saw someone living the life I wanted, I said it again. I will win, even if it takes 10 years. I stopped looking for fast results. I started falling in love with the process. I studied every day. I practiced speaking every day. I saved every extra dollar I earned. I invested in a better internet plan. I bought 1 cheap microphone to start recording voiceovers. I learned how to create digital content. All from that same room. All from that same cracked phone. All while the world was laughing, sleeping, or ignoring me. 2 years into this journey. I had improved my English. I had learned new skills. I had even started making small money online, maybe $200 a month. But guess what? Still, nobody clapped. Nobody asked, "How did you do it?" Nobody said, "You're doing great." Because I still didn't look successful on the outside. Still no car, still no new clothes, still no fancy home. But I didn't care. Because deep inside, I knew I was becoming someone the world would soon have to respect. The only question was, how long could I keep walking alone? And my answer was simple: as long as it takes. Chapter 3. When effort still gives you nothing. After 2 years of working in silence, something strange happened. I was no longer the same boy who started this journey. My English was better. My thinking was sharper. My discipline was stronger. But my life still looked the same from the outside. And that was the most dangerous phase of my journey. Because this is the phase where most people quit. Not at the beginning. Not when things are clearly bad. But when you have worked for a long time and still have nothing big to show. I was tired. Not physically tired. Mentally tired. Every morning, I woke up and asked myself the same question. Am I really moving forward? Or am I just fooling myself? One day, I finally decided to stop only learning and start doing something real. I told myself, enough preparation, now I will test myself. I chose one simple path: freelancing. I had learned some basic skills online. Writing simple content, basic digital marketing, simple design using free tools. I wasn't an expert, but I was honest. I was ready to work hard. So I created my first freelancing profile. I uploaded a photo. I wrote a small description in simple English. I pressed publish with shaking hands. I remember sitting there staring at the screen thinking, this is it. This is the start of my new life. But reality hit me fast. Day 1, no message. Day 2, no message. Week 1, no message. I applied for jobs every night after work. I wrote proposals carefully. I rewrote them again and again. I checked my grammar. I tried to sound confident, but nothing happened. Then the rejection started. Not selected. Client chose someone else. No response. Hundreds of applications. 0 results. I started doubting myself again. Maybe my English is still not good enough. Maybe I'm not smart enough. Maybe they were right about me. Those old voices came back. The voices of people who laughed at my dreams. The voices of those who said, people like us don't succeed. And this time, they sounded louder. Because now I had tried and failed. There is a pain nobody talks about. It's not the pain of being poor. It's not the pain of being insulted. It's the pain of trying your best and still getting ignored. I would sit in my room at night, phone in my hand, refreshing my email. No notifications, just silence. I stopped telling myself motivational quotes. I stopped feeling excited. I was just empty. But I still woke up the next day, still went to work, still came home and applied again. Not because I felt strong, but because I had no other choice. Going back to my old life scared me more than failing again. During this time, I saw many people around me moving ahead. Some of my friends got jobs through connections. Some got promotions. Some started earning good money. They started posting pictures. New phones. New bikes, restaurants, trips. And I was happy for them. But inside, something hurt. I was doing everything right. I was working harder than ever. And still, I was stuck. This is where jealousy tries to enter your heart. This is where bitterness tries to poison your mind. I felt it, I won't lie. But one night I sat quietly and thought deeply. If I turn bitter, I lose. If I start hating others, I lose. If I quit now, I lose. So I made another decision. I decided to stop measuring my life by results. I decided to measure it by effort. Every day, I asked myself only one question. Did I give my full effort today? Not. Did I make money today? Not. Did someone praise me today? Just effort. If I studied for 1 hour, that was a win. If I applied for 10 jobs, that was a win. If I practiced English for 30 minutes, that was a win. Small wins, invisible wins, wins that nobody could clap for, wins that nobody could see, but wins that were slowly changing me. I also stopped trying to look successful. I stopped pretending. I didn't post motivational quotes anymore. I didn't tell people what I was working on. I didn't explain my struggles. I focused only on skill. I improved my writing. I learned how to communicate clearly. I studied why some people succeed online and others don't. I learned how to solve problems, not just talk about them. This part was boring, very boring. No excitement, no drama, just repetition. But repetition is what builds power. There was one night I will never forget. I had just received another rejection email. I was tired. My head was heavy. I put my phone down and lay on the floor, staring at the ceiling. And for the first time, I said out loud, "Maybe this is not for me." That sentence scared me, because once you accept that thought, your journey ends. I stayed quiet for a long time. Then I remembered something from my past. I remembered how people laughed at me at the bus stop. I remembered their faces, their voices, their confidence that I would fail. And suddenly, something inside me woke up again. I sat up and said quietly, "I didn't come this far to stop here." No anger, no shouting, just a calm decision. Today, when I look back, I understand this phase clearly. This phase was not meant to give me money. It was meant to give me patience. It was not meant to give me fame. It was meant to give me strength. It was not meant to prove anything to others. It was meant to prove something to myself, that I could keep going without rewards, that I could stay disciplined without applause, that I could trust myself even when results were missing. This phase removed my ego. It removed my need for validation. It removed my dependence on people. And it prepared me for what was coming next. By the end of this phase, nothing dramatic had happened. I was still not rich, still not famous, still not respected by the world. But I was different. My confidence no longer depended on others. My happiness no longer depended on results. My focus no longer depended on motivation. I had become consistent. And consistency is dangerous. Because once a person becomes consistent, success is only a matter of time. I didn't know it yet. But I was standing very close to my first real breakthrough, and the world was still not watching. Chapter 4. The Door That Opened Quietly. I remember the exact day it happened. The day something finally changed. It didn't come with a bang. There was no dramatic music, no flash of light, no big message saying, "Congratulations, Aaron, you made it." It came like most important moments in life. Quietly, softly, unexpectedly. That morning, I was sitting on the edge of my bed, still tired, still waiting, still applying for jobs one after another, still doing what I had done for months. And suddenly, I got a message, a simple message on my freelancing profile. It said, "Hi, Aaron, I liked your writing sample. Are you available for a small blog project?" That's it. Just one sentence, just one client, just one project. But to me, it felt like the sky had opened. I stared at that message for almost 5 minutes, not because it was long, but because I couldn't believe it was real. After hundreds of rejections, after months of silence, after so many nights of doubt, someone finally said, yes. I didn't scream. I didn't celebrate. I just sat there, breathing deeply, telling myself, reply calmly. Don't show desperation. Be professional. I wrote back, hello. Thank you so much for reaching out. Yes, I'm available. Please let me know the details. My hands were shaking as I typed, because I knew this wasn't just a job. This was a test. The client wanted me to write one blog article, just 500 words. Topic: how to stay focused in the digital age. Simple topic. But to me, it was the most important piece of writing in the world. I researched for hours. I wrote multiple drafts. I checked every line for grammar, spelling, and flow. I even read it out loud 10 times to hear how it sounded. And when I submitted it, I closed my eyes and whispered, please let this be good enough. I waited for a reply. An hour passed. Nothing. 2 hours. Still nothing. Then finally, thank you, Aaron. This is great work. I'll send payment now. Looking forward to working again. That one line brought tears to my eyes. It wasn't about the money. It wasn't about the praise. It was about what it meant. It meant I was not crazy. It meant I was not wasting my time. It meant I could be useful to someone in this world. A small payment, a giant step. The client paid me $10. Just $10. Some people would laugh at that. Some people would say, that's nothing. But to me, it was everything. Because it was not just $10. It was proof. Proof that I could earn online. Proof that someone believed in my work. Proof that all those months of learning, practicing, crying, doubting were not for nothing. I held that $10 payment like it was gold. Because in a way, it was. It was the beginning. The spark. The first drop of rain after a long, painful drought. Still no applause. Still no crowd. I wanted to tell someone. I wanted to say, hey, I just got my first online payment. But I stopped myself because I knew they still wouldn't care. To the world, I was still just trying. Still playing around with freelancing. Still wasting time online. Nobody saw the years behind that $10 payment. Nobody saw the early mornings, the cracked phone, the broken English, the silent tears, the invisible effort. So I didn't say anything. I just smiled to myself. I wrote in my journal that night, today I made $10 online. The world didn't notice, but I did. And that's enough. After that first job, I felt something inside me grow stronger. Confidence. Not loud confidence. Not the kind where you beat your chest and scream. No. This was quiet confidence. The kind that comes from proof, from real action, from earned results. I didn't feel like an imposter anymore. I felt like a beginner. But a real beginner. A worker. A builder. A doer. That job gave me momentum. And with momentum, I became dangerous. Because now I had tasted belief, not borrowed belief from others, but self-belief earned through effort. I changed my strategy. I stopped chasing hundreds of clients. I focused on building real relationships. I updated my freelancing profile. I made my writing samples better. I learned how to write clearer proposals. I invested time, not money. Every night I practiced English, still in front of the mirror, still with the same notebook, still repeating words I had heard in online videos. Because I knew that to grow globally, I had to speak globally. A few months later, the same client gave me more work, then referred me to another. And slowly, very slowly, my monthly income became $50, then $100, then $300. Still small to others, but for me, it was a breakthrough. I no longer needed to ask my father for bus money. I bought myself new shoes for the first time in years. I even paid for my own internet connection. And still, nobody noticed, nobody clapped, nobody called me successful. Because the world still couldn't see me. But that was fine. Because I was no longer doing this to be seen. I was doing this to become unstoppable. Here's what I learned during this phase. Your first win will not change your life. It will change your direction. Your first dollar will not make you rich. But it will prove you're not helpless. Your first opportunity will not give you fame. But it will give you strength. And most importantly, your first success will not bring your friends back. It will show you that you never needed them. The same people who once laughed at me were now quiet. They didn't apologize. They didn't come back. They just disappeared. Because now, I wasn't funny anymore. Now I was slowly becoming real. And people fear what they once laughed at. Chapter 5. The day the world finally noticed. Weeks turned into months. Months turned into years. And I kept going. Quietly, consistently, without noise, without shortcuts, without waiting for applause. By now, I had built a steady income online. I was making enough to pay my bills, enough to save, enough to feel proud. But I was still invisible to the world. Nobody asked what I did. Nobody cared how I got here. Because I still wasn't posting anything loud. No expensive watches. No luxury photos. No fake lifestyle. And that's when something happened that changed everything. One day, a client I had worked with for months sent me a message. He said, "Aaron, I've been watching your consistency and honesty. I'm building a new content platform, and I want you to lead the writing team. It's a long-term contract. It pays $2,000 a month. Are you interested?" I read that message 5 times. Then I closed my eyes, took a deep breath, and remembered the boy who started this journey. The boy who couldn't afford internet. The boy who got laughed at by friends. The boy who cried in silence. The boy who made $10 and called it victory. And now, that same boy was being offered a leadership position. Not because of luck, not because of connections, but because of discipline. Because of quiet, invisible effort. I said yes. And just like that, my life changed. After I accepted that job, I started getting noticed. My work got shared online. Clients mentioned my name in forums. People started messaging me on LinkedIn. And then it happened. The old voices returned. "Hey man, long time. I heard you're doing great things. Bro, I always knew you'd succeed. Proud of you. Let's catch up sometime." I recognized every voice, every name, every face. They were the same people who laughed when I had nothing, who ignored me when I was learning, who doubted me when I was building. Now suddenly, they remembered me. Not because they missed me, but because they saw what I had become. For a second, I felt angry. For a second, I wanted to reply, "Where were you when I was struggling? Where were you when I had no food, no help, no friends?" But then I smiled, because I finally understood something. They didn't hate me back then. They just didn't see me as someone worth believing in. And now that I had won, now that I had results, now that I had something they could admire, they came back, not as friends, but as spectators. Because this world only claps for the finished product. Not the broken version, not the messy version, not the version that's still building. I didn't respond to those messages with hate. I didn't argue. I didn't explain myself. I just moved forward. Because I wasn't building my life to prove them wrong anymore. I was building it to prove myself right. I bought a small apartment, furnished it with my own earnings, started sending money to my parents every month, took my little brother for his first vacation, became the first person in my family to make money through the internet, the first person to earn in dollars, the first person to speak fluent English in a professional meeting, the first person to build something from zero. And I did it alone. No rich uncle, no lucky break, no magic moment, just effort, every single day, for years, in silence. If you're still listening to me right now, I want to tell you something. You don't need everyone to believe in you. You just need one person, yourself. Yes, people will laugh. Yes, they will doubt you. Yes, they will disappear when you're at your lowest. Let them. Because when you win, they will return, not to help you, but to stand next to you, to act like they always knew you'd make it. But you will know the truth. You will remember the nights you cried alone, the meals you skipped, the friends who left, the risks you took, the jobs you applied for with trembling hands, the voice in your head that kept saying, "Keep going," and you will smile. Not because they finally believe in you, but because you never needed them to. No one is your friend until you win. But if you win, you won't need their friendship, because your success will speak louder than their silence. So don't wait for their support. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Don't wait for someone to believe in you. Start now, in your room, with what you have, with who you are, with the broken version of yourself, with doubt, with fear. But start, because one day you'll be the person they said would never make it, and you'll prove. That silence is not weakness. It's just focus. And when you finally win, let the world hear nothing except the sound of your footsteps walking away from their doubts. 13 powerful lessons from Aaron's story. 1. The world respects results, not dreams. No matter how passionate you are, no matter how big your dreams are, people don't care until you turn your dreams into results. So stop explaining your vision. Start building it, because the world only listens when you win. 2. Silence is not weakness, it's focus. Aaron didn't shout about his goals. He worked in silence while others partied, laughed, and posted fake success. Real growth happens in quiet places. If you're silent right now, it doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're focusing on something powerful. 3. Rejection is not the end. It's the test. Hundreds of rejections almost broke him. But the ones who keep applying, keep learning, keep improving, they eventually win. Every no is just one step closer to a yes. Keep walking. 4. Your first win won't be big, but it will be everything. $10 changed Aaron's life, not because of the amount, but because of what it proved. Your first win is not about money. It's about belief. It tells you, yes, you can. 5. Most people disappear when you need them most. When you're broke, confused, or lost. Even close friends become strangers. This is not betrayal. This is the truth of life. Let it hurt. Then let it build you. Because when you finally win, they'll all remember you, but you won't need them anymore. 6. You don't need motivation. You need a decision. Aaron didn't wait for motivation. He made a decision. A quiet, personal, unbreakable decision to win, no matter how long it took. Decisions create discipline. Discipline builds destiny. 7. Become your own teacher, friend, and support system. Nobody will come to guide you. Nobody will cheer you when you're learning. Nobody will tell you you're improving. That's why you must clap for yourself. Talk to yourself. Train yourself. Teach yourself. Be the person you've been waiting for. 8. Growth happens in invisible moments. The world only sees the final success. It never sees the early mornings, the broken phones, the tears, the tiny wins. So don't chase visibility, chase growth, because invisible progress is still progress. 9. Discipline will take you where motivation can't. Motivation comes and goes, but discipline is forever. Aaron didn't win because he was excited every day. He won because he kept showing up even when he felt empty. If you're tired, do it tired. If you're afraid, do it afraid. But do it. 10. Your real power is in repetition. Aaron didn't succeed because he was special. He succeeded because he repeated simple actions every day for years. Repeat, repeat, repeat. That's how you become unstoppable. 11. The journey is the reward. Aaron wanted to win, but the real prize was who he became on the journey. Patient, strong, fluent, skilled, respected. Don't just chase results. Chase transformation. No money, no mentor, no fancy background. Still, Aaron made it. Why? Because he believed one thing. I am enough. I will find a way. I will build my future with what I have. You don't need perfect conditions. You need belief, action, and time. 13. Win for yourself, not to prove them wrong. In the end, Aaron didn't seek revenge. He didn't post about how everyone left him. He didn't argue. He didn't explain. He simply moved forward. Because success is not about showing others they were wrong. It's about proving to yourself that you were always right. If this story taught you something, remember this. You don't need the world to believe in you. You just need one person to believe in you. And that person is already inside you. Talk to them, train them, push them, and never stop. Because one day, when the world finally sees what you've become, you'll smile and say, I did it without you.